right, so we're now looking at device maintenance. Oh, Stuart, can you give me my lighting, please, buddy? Give me the front light off. That's it, great. So, okay. Devices, router switches, firewalls, all require, even PCs obviously require ongoing maintenance. So this is really about how file systems work on those devices, images, and backups. You've just done NTP, and hopefully look at this lab in your kind of homework, and you're looking to really, the practical emphasis is really the focus now for next week's skills test. I'll be giving you some preparation for that in a minute. So device maintenance, here we go. So I've got router file systems first of all. On any router, you can run a command called show file systems, and you'll get what's on here. It will show you what's the kind of drives they have, prefixes, and the available space that's free. Information you need to know is type of file system, permissions, read-only, read and write. You want to know what the TFTP, flash and NVRAM file system capacity is, and bootable iOS, which is the operating system. That's done with wherever the star is where that's stored. That's the bootable iOS there. dir, that command is a famous command from DOS. If you remember DOS, the DOS days. These are DOS commands. dir gives a directory listing. Remember that one? And we'll give the contents of the flash. So if you go into dir, you get a flash listing, what the files that are in there. Here's the actual image file for the iOS there. It's the current file that's running in the RAM. And other commands, cd is a change directory command, also from DOS, NVRAM, so you can view inside. You can go cd NVRAM colon. If I look at this, if I choose any one of these, and I can cd to any of these, cd NVRAM. pwd changes your present working directory. So if I change directory to that, then I do pwd, I'm then in the directory. Then I can do dir, yeah, and then I can do a directory listing of that and see what's inside there, various files at the start of config, when we're always writing to, yeah. So pwd verifies what we're viewing, and dir lists the contents. Also, we can switch file systems. Here's a show file systems command, again showing you all the various things that are available in that list. The commands are the same for both switches and routers. By switch file systems, the same commands apply to both devices. Now, backing up and restoring, to work with, we did talk about text files previously. Terraterm is allows you to capture what's going on with the connection. So when you do use Terraterm or PuTTY, you can actually at the start of it activate the logging system. What it does is it will save everything, okay, to a text file. Terraterm itself allows you to log the file as you go along. So when the capture started, you can execute the show running config or show start config at the previous exec prompt. Text displayed in the terminal window, whatever comes up in the terminal window, those command lines, those responses, all go to the chosen file that you're saving. When it's complete, select close in the Terraterm log window and view the file to show it's not corrupted. There's a text file where it's being saved is written there. So you can restore configuration. You can copy a text file configuration into a device, and you can copy that file across. So if you can copy and paste it into the Terraterm window or PuTTY window, PuTTY will allow you to copy and paste into them. And the iOS executes each line in that text file as a command. This also applies to routers. If you want to put something on a router with Packet Tracer, you can do a right-click paste into a router, and you'll see all the commands being executed line by line. At the CLI, the device must be set at the global configuration mode to receive the commands from the text in the terminal window. So you must make sure you're in that status to do copy and paste first. Until you get there, it's not going to work, okay? So your conf t has to be above the stuff you're going to paste. Here's some steps on Terraterm. On the file menu, click send file. Locate the file to be copied and click open. Terraterm will paste the file into the device. The send file is actually importing. Think of it as being more like import. Send is not really a great command. It's more like importing a file So if you give it a file, a text file, it will import it straight into the router or switch you are currently on. And these commands are then applied. Generally speaking, config files should be backed up and included in network documentations. When you're working in a networking job, you have a network folder, you have a topology in it, you have various log files and then reports, engineering journal commands like we have already, and you should also have your backup of your config file. So you can copy the running config file to something called a TFTP service. Have you heard that before? TFTP? So CCNA exam 1 was in that, I think. Yeah. So you copied your file to like an FTP address, like a file. This is a file transfer protocol. Yeah. And you can just take the remote host, what it is, and it will tell you what's the file name to write to, and you put a name in for it, then you confirm it, and it writes the file. They're the commands being used there. Okay. So other kind of things you can do with backups, there is a USB port on the back of a router there, and you can get into it by going dir space USB flash 0 colon. That's the particular command to get into this one. So a USB device can be put into the back of that, and you can use that to store your files too. So you can not only store your files, but also store your iOS configurations, yeah, your iOS and your various router config files from that. And again, dir will view it. Very useful thing to have a USB backup. How do you restore and back up with USB? First of all, you go show file systems. In that list comes USB flash there. It's RW, which is read writable. So that's the first command, the first step you do. Then you do copy running config to USB flash 0 colon. Give it a file name and it copies the file across. That will copy to your USB drive. And then if you've got an existing file already there and you try doing this, if there's an old file there, it will warn you to overwrite it or not. Okay, so probably better to name the file with a certain date stamp, like version 1, March 2018, version 2, April 2018, etc. So you've got sensible file names, yeah? Backing up and restoring using USB, so further, if you could do dir, USB flash, there's your config file there. And if you ever want to see this file, do you remember the command in Unix? We know some Unix here. How do you see a file in Unix? How do you view a file? There's a couple of commands for it.
LS.
Well, LS is not bad. LS actually is a list. It's more listing. Yeah. You've got something called VI, which is also an editor. You've also got something called more. And more is the command being used here. More shows you text. Yeah. So more USB flash directory / R1 config file name shows you what's inside the file. Yeah. These are all Unix commands actually. And to restore a configuration that's running, use copy USB flash R1 config root space running -config, or copy the existing old config to a running configuration. That's how you can import stuff into these devices. All right, password recovery, here we go. Now, sometimes you can come across a situation where you come to a device and the password is not known. Okay, real problem. Happened on some Cisco devices in the college before, with students. And so we had to do this thing where to basically reboot the password totally. So the way this is done, okay, here's some of the steps involved in recovering a password should you ever come across this problem. Enter something called the ROM-MON mode. Yeah, that's called ROM-MON mode. So with console access, this is directly cabling into that device, going right up to it. A user can access the ROM-MON code by using a break sequence during the boot up process, or removing the external flash memory when the device is powered off. If it's got a flash memory card in there, you can put it out, or you press a certain break sequence. The break sequence is different on every single device. It's usually holding down some buttons. Like with a mobile phone. If someone's holding some buttons down, it does a different startup sequence. It's just like that. Yeah. When it's done, change the configuration register to ignore the startup config file. Confreg 0x2142. Very strange command that. That will bypass the startup config file as normal. Therefore, the password won't come up, you see. Then type reset at the prompt to restart the device. Reset. Now it goes to system bootstrap. Then you can make your original config file and make a config file yourself, copy that across, configure all the necessary passwords, change the config back to 0x2102 and save it. Quite a fiddly little thing, that. Here's how it's being done. You see this? Enable secret, sorry, conf-t. Oh, before that, actually. So you've got this new kind of boot up here. It's all blank. And then you copy your config, startup config to running config. Conf-t, enable secret Cisco. That's your password being put on. Change your config register to go back again to how it was before. And then end. And then it will start building configuration and it will reboot with your new password in place. Okay, that's how you do this. Obviously, you will lose your previous configuration, which is why you should back things up. So even if you lost your password, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got a backup of your config file, it won't be a problem. You just rebuild it. Some activities here, backing up config files on Packet Tracer here. There's a few of these. Backing up config files, that one there. Managing root config files with TerraTerm. This is a lab. This is device config using TFTP, flash, and USB. And researching password recovery procedures. Here's the other side of it here. So this is how you reset the thing we just talked about now. Okay, now looking at the issue with images. Cisco iOS is an operating system much like Windows 10 is. So what happens is any routers are shipped with a universal iOS and a license. And that license enables specific packages to be available. Here's an example for a G2 router. Various things available: security, unified communication, data, and IP base. What the hell is a G? How much is a G2 router anyway? G2, Cisco G2 router. These proper big ones. Oh, they don't come cheap, do they? Generation 2, it means by that. Here they are. From 2009. One of these. So a device name here. These are all GS2 routers. This is the one that's 194. You often see this on Cisco Labs, this one. 507 on the version 2 there. It's because it's this G2. So what's on this? Now we'll look carefully at this type of image. Universal K9 is a recent type of not firmware, it's more like a kind of a release, okay, of the G2 router. Offers these iOS features: strong payload cryptography, VPN, SSL, which is secure socket layer, and secure unified communications. You'll see at the end of this image name more stuff appearing. This one's got an underscore NP underneath it. This shows this one here is missing some kind of feature. No payload encryption, NPE. So to actually activate features, we use licensing. You buy the license and then you activate more things. And this is done using Cisco software activation licensing keys. Here is an example of a image name: C1900-universal K9-MZ SPA1524M3 bin. Long file name. All these different parts of it mean different things. That's the major release and minor release. New feature release, extended maintenance release, rebuild, file extensions .bin file. Here's your hardware, that's your image designation, memory location, and compression format. Okay. MZ is the most common compression format. The first letter indicates whether the image is executed on the router, so that means F for flash, M for RAM, little r for ROM, and L for relocatable. So it's Z normally for zip files, the compression that's being used for this image. So the iOS, you have to be able to back it up, okay, as well. You're going to be able to back up your iOS to a central server. So the good practice is to keep the backup of the iOS image in case the system becomes corrupted or erased. And using a network TFTP server allows, the special device here, allows uploads of image and configuration and downloads too. That device could be another router, a workstation, or a host system. Say you want to back up a current image file on the router to a TFTP server. Here's your router here. Here's your file. So what's happening here is they're first going to ping that this server can be connected to. Ping the server, and does it echo back? It does. Successful. The steps then involved are to show the flash, which is where the iOS is stored. Show flash 0 colon. There's your file there, M3 bin. Copy flash zeros, everything on the flash. Copy flash 0 colon to TFTP colon. Source file name, you say what it is. Address of host, which is where the TFTP server is there. Destination file name exactly the same, just hit enter at that point. Then it will write the file across. Okay? I mean, this file is about 68 megabytes, looking at it, also, probably less than that. And the file is transferred across in the next number of seconds. Over it goes. Now, copying it from the server back to the device, so the server's now there. This is now pinging the server first, checking it's all right. So on the router, we're going to ping this server, see is it live, all good. Then we're going to show the flash on the router, and it's currently empty, and there's enough space on it. So you've got to check, is there enough room on this flash to store a file? This is 74 megabytes. Given that this iOS was 67 megabytes, we're going to be all right. Then you copy the TFTP colon to flash 0 colon. Address of remote host is the IP version 6 address of that server. Source file name, we know what that is. Destination file name is the same, hit enter, and then it copies the file across. And now saved on your local router. Okay, now how about upgrades? To upgrade the iOS image after it's saved on the router's flash memory, configure the router to load the new image during boot up using the boot system command. So you might already have an old version of the image available. What you therefore need to do is configure it to run the new image with the new file name with the following steps. The first thing is to verify the image is loaded. It says use the show version command. It says configure terminal, boot system. The command is boot system flash 0. And it's got a full file name path there. Then exit. Just saying boot with this. Exit. Copy the running config to startup config. And then reload. Reload will restart the device. Show version will show it's worked. And here's 15.2 version 4 M3. And that's the new version there. Okay. They have some packet tracer activities here. Showing you simulation of the TFTP server upgrade of Cisco iOS image, so you can simulate that. And a video demonstration too in managing the Cisco iOS images. That comes into your resources. Okay, now on to the final part, which is licensing. Not long to go now. Okay, licensing overview. So each device ships with the same image. Tech packages are enabled in the image via Cisco's activations keys. The Cisco iOS software activation feature allows users to enable license features and register licenses. So technology packages you can get, like these upgrades, IP-based data, UC, and security. Here's the process now for licensing. What you do is number one is you first buy from Cisco License Manager a package or a feature, and you get back a PAK file, product activation key, comes back to you. Okay. Two, you get a license, and you associate this key with this license. Okay. And that's done on the Cisco License Manager or the Cisco License Portal, depending on the scale of your business. That gives you back a license file, which is another little key. You then install that license on that device. UDI is a unique device identifier. It goes with the actual device itself. Has a name, you know, organization, vendor name, plus its own identifier there. A bit like Windows and then the serial key of Windows, you know, your device name or whatever it is. So buying packages, specific, like say you want to buy IP base, you receive a pack with the purchase as a receipt and use that to buy a license. It's an 11-digit code by Cisco, and it's required for those 4 different things there. How you obtain a license, so it shows you what's happening here. The UDI is a combination of the product ID, PID, serial number, and hardware version. It's all very hardware linked, you see. You can see here, there's like a sticker on the bottom of this device here, which shows you stuff like the serial number, so you can see how it works, yeah? The serial number is there. There it is, FTX, ending in G. PID is that value there. And that's stuck on the bottom of that particular device, as you can see, sticking out of it, as it is there. And this show license UDI here is you seeing the unique device identifier code there. These aren't matched, by the way. It's the same thing, they're just different devices. There's 2 ways of seeing it. One is actually inside the router, and one is on the actual physical hardware itself. Okay, now installing a license. So you can get a permanent license which never expires. So here's a license being installed. License install flash : which is where the file's been put. Security K9, here's a security update. Full file name .lic. Okay, so that's been successfully installed. And the R1 shows you now this has been put onto the system. It's a security feature that's been put on there. To verify your license, show version. That shows you the kind of license you have, that line there. And here, show license. These are useful commands. They do come up in your test, by the way, your theory test. Show license, types of things that you see. There's 3 levels there of packages that they've got installed on here: IP base, data C, and security there. Some are permanent, as you can see there. Yeah, that's not permanent. That's an evaluation right to use on there. Let's explore that one further. How do you activate an evaluation right to use license? So this has got some commands you have to do. License accept end user agreement. License boot module C1900 technology package DK9. That accepts the user agreement for using that feature. Show license, and there you go. 8 weeks, 4 days left on that one to go to evaluate that particular feature. You can back up licenses because they can get lost. So the license save command is used to copy all licenses and store them. Save licenses are restored using the license install command. So to back up a license, you go to license space save /0 all underscore licenses.lic and show space /0 : shows it's installed there. So that shows you it's been saved to the flash file. There it is, all licenses. It's not a very big file, it was tiny. Uninstalling licenses, so you can clear an active and permanent license. License boot module C1900 blah blah blah. Disable, exit and reload. That disables the technology package, the one you've installed. And to clear the license, license space clear sec K9 conf terminal. There's another command here, no license boot module blah blah blah. Disable, exit and reload. Okay, these are things you just need to learn by rote really for your engineering journals. And finally, there's a video demonstration here where you can do the following things. Right, you can watch videos about how it's being done. Great, hey? Now, I'll give you what's pertinent, I think, now for your skills test. This stuff will come up in your theory, this stuff here, okay? So your chapter test will take care of that knowledge there. Your actual skills test is more going to be around what I discussed earlier. On this particular chapter, your syslog, these 2 here are the big ones for your skills test. Now, I want to give you a few minutes just to chill for a bit, right? And then I'm going to start explaining to you the briefing for the skills test. These are sorry, paper bombardment today. All the versions. Oh, okay, cheers. Right, here you go, sir. Revision 26. So you wish you were sitting in the garden right now having a beer instead of being a participant. Right. Okay, revision. So
This is all CCNA2, is it?
Correct. So what I've done is this sheet I've given you now, okay? I've kindly given you, we'll see something else in a minute. So what I've given you, okay, is I've given you the revision cheat, well, not cheat sheet, wrong word to use, isn't it, for exam? I've given you the labs summarised, okay? Well, the labs that are most highly recommended for the skills test, okay? Now, what I would suggest is at least do the packet tracers that match to these. Yeah, everyone has got a similar packet tracer beforehand, and after that are the labs that go with it. We have in classes been focusing on packet tracers around these things. In all these weeks, like even today, we did the one 10.2.3.6 configuring system and NTP. Okay, so wherever you see something, those are the ones that I want you to tick off and learn and know well. Okay, so I mean, we've covered a lot of ground in CCNA2. This is what we're learning, believe it or not, over the last 11 weeks or so. That is the revision, okay, focus on. Now I'm now going to give you a kind of like a bit of a briefing on the exam itself.